Well, today's episode is going to be a bit of a short one. Originally, I was going to put ChocoPro and, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling with more on the New Japan Cup, but however, the time is not fitting for me. But I will make it up the next one because there's a lot of wrestling going on this entire weekend, and it's going to be a killer. So, as I mentioned, we only got ChocoPro 208, which only features one match, and it's for the Super Asia Championship. And of course, we got NWA USA, where it only features two empty arena matches, and of course, a match that took place during their Powerrr Trip shows. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, as I mentioned before, we got only two reviews and it's going to be a short one for everyone. Now, the first one we're going to review is ChocoPro number 208 that only features one match, and it's only for the Super Asia Championship. This is between and Challenger and the founder of Ganbare Pro, Ken Oka, versus, of course, Balian Aki, who is the current champion. Now, how did this whole thing begin? When Ken Oka made his appearance in one of the latest ChocoPro live shows, he was in a match against Yuna Mizumori, but however, Ken Oka made a decision that he wants to challenge for the Super Asia Championship against Balinaki. But in recent times, he did attack him from behind. Even Balinaki went to Gambari Pro to confront him. You know how that goes, back and forth, back and forth. But this match was a much brutalized match that you could not possibly imagine. Not only the match took place inside the chocolate square mat, it also took place outside. So basically, Ken Oka was doing everything in his power to dismember Balinaki, but it did not do any good for him one way or the other. So basically, there was a moment where, of course, Balinaki had to roll them down the hill from the place, but Ken Oka decided to spear him all the way. So I thought it was very intensified. But of course, Ken Oka decided to take the match deep inside the ring to ensure he could finally put him away. But it was not enough. No matter how much he put him through pain and outside of the chocolate square mat, but he did use another equalizer, which is a suitcase. I think it's the same suitcase that he used when he arrived, but it did not work. Even Balinaki fought back using that same suitcase, and I thought he was really being creative. But I think the biggest moment is when he did like coming off the wall doing a swanton bomb while the suitcase was right on top of Ken Oka, that gave him the edge to finally put him away with a 1-2-3 and retain the title. Now, as you know, when it comes to Janken tournament, there only is one match. And that match is only because the only two wrestlers are there. Now, yes, if you've seen, yes, Mei Suruga was there, so was Masa, so was Chon, so was May, but, and she, whoever were there. But no, this is how it's done only when it comes to championship matches. But here's the best part. Balinaki may have walked away retaining his title, but Ken Oka walked away winning the chocolate. So basically that is. However, Ken Oka was giving a little promo. I don't even understand what he's saying. Balinaki, normally he's the only person who speaks English. He can translate with what's going on. All of a sudden, Meishuru gets a live video phone call here in the United States. None other than, of course, to our biggest surprise, was Emi Sakura. Yes, folks, you heard me right. Emi Sakura made a phone call all the way from the US to Japan to talk about the match itself. Now, we did see the video phone call because make sure to go hold the phone in front of the camera. Now, like I said, I don't know what is going on, what really was happening, but it appears that every challenger that Balinaki has come across has failed. However, apparently Emi Sakura, since she's the promoter, the founder, decided to put a very much strong challenge for him. And to our surprise, I have to say it was herself. That's right, guys. She's returning to Japan, and she's going to face Balinaki for the Super Asia title. Now, this is a very interesting match. Now, as you know, she's been gone for almost 8 months. She did stated that she was going to be gone for a year. It hasn't been a year. I think she only has like maybe 4 months left to there. Hopefully, that's the case, but we'll see about that. But I think Balinaki is really, really looking forward to it. Seeing Emi Sakura. But until then, set your clock straight. The match will take place on the 28th of March. So let's start right now and we'll cut it from here. So right now, let's move on with the NWA USA. All right. As you know, we are in NWA USA. This normally is we don't get the normal type of shows, but however, it was very interesting what they throw in for all of us. I think because, as you know, we're still coming out of the whole thing with Matt Cardona winning the NWA World Heavyweight title, and of course, he claims that he's there to save the NWA, which it's a load of nonsense. But doesn't mean they cannot give us some good matches. Like if you guys know, all their matches are taped. They don't broadcast it as soon as possible. So let's see what kind of matches they showed us. First match, we have Devon Graves versus Miguel Robles. Now, this was one of two of the empty arena matches at the GPS studio. Miguel Robles, I have seen him, but he was in a match where he lost. But Devon Graves, never seen him. I thought this match was very decent, even though I don't know none of these guys. But I have to say, Miguel Robles really put a good impression winning this match. And of course, he rolled up Devon Graves in order to win the match, which was a bit surprise. So hopefully we will see more of either of these guys down the line in NWA, but we'll see then. Now our next match takes us place to the shows of the Powerrr Trip. We have Magic Jake Dumas versus AJ Kazana. Now, AJ Kazana is a third generation wrestler. His father was a wrestler who was a tag team specialist from what Joe Galli was able, and so was his grandfather. So this is a very interesting. And his opponent, Magic Jake Dumas, he's basically repackaged himself to rename his new gimmick, new image, which some things we have seen over time. As you know, like many of the independent wrestlers or wrestlers that went back to a new name, or they just went like that. So, but this guy was really cocky. But the one thing he was trying to do is light up a cigarette. And Tim Storm said, "I thought this place was a non-cigarette, a non-smoking area," which basically is true. But I don't know what he was trying to do, like trying to celebrate his victory too soon. I don't know. But he did put a good impression by putting up somewhat version of a stunner onto AJ, allowing himself to win the match. So I thought it was great. But however, I don't know much of these two guys, but you can be sure that we will see these two down the line in the future with NWA. Now our main event is also in an empty arena, and this was between Deontay and Nims. Now, what Austin Idol revealed on this particular match is that these two men are in fact students of Crimson, now known as Anthony Mayweather. I thought it was pretty good, but Austin Idol put his money on Nims. Now, Nims has been a very strong powerhouse within, NWA. He's been very good at what he's done. Some good matches that he had over since he first arrived. Even taking on Knox. But I have to say it was pretty good. Now, Deontay, he's one of those guys that we don't know much about what he can do, but he did pretty good. Not to lie about that. But Nims is the fan favorite in this particular match. But he pulled off with the somewhat version of a choke slam, and landed on that and giving him the edge to win the match. I thought it was pretty good. So, um, yeah, so there's that. I think I enjoyed the show, even though not most of these wrestlers I don't even know who they are, but it was decent enough. So I think that's pretty much it. Before ending this episode, I want to talk about something else that came to my lap. This is regarding Atticus Cogar departing from GCW. Okay, if you guys have been fans of GCW, you may or may not have heard the interesting developments that took place. The silver tooth Satan himself, Atticus Cogar, has departed from GCW. Now, some of you right now are saying, but J Rod, they don't have contracts in GCW. I agree. Atticus Cogar has been a regular in that particular promotion. However, it appears that there's more to what's been going on, what he revealed. Now, let me explain what's been going on. He even did this on a podcast interview with his friend Gregory Irons, who runs a podcast called Iron on Wrestling. He talks about things that have been going on in the GCW locker room. He did stated that the GCW locker room is full of toxic. Now, this is something we have seen and heard before with WWE, with many wrestlers who felt when they were in WWE they were being in a toxic environment. And it's hard for me to believe that, but if that's what took place in GCW, I understand that. And not only that, he felt that things have changed for him. Now, if you guys remember what I'm talking about, Atticus Cogar along with 440, they were involved in a Art of War Games match between 440 and Team MDK. Um, Basically, this is where things got interesting. As soon as that match was over, RSP Ricky Shane Page disappeared. No one's had heard from him since then. But ever since that particular time, Atticus Cogar did reveal that there were some bookings he did like, others he did not. So basically, whatever it was. I mean, look, I thought he was doing good. I mean, he was like being that lone warrior, like telling F440 because they failed, that sort of thing. That's what I thought. And then they started bringing 440 back. So I can understand what was the point, because we need that strong villain looking type of wrestler that we definitely enjoy. But there was a lot of things that he did not like. But there's something else that also came about. It turns out that he's forming his own wrestling promotion called Circle Six. Um, this was not something that he actually pulled out of a hat. Let me explain. He explained this. If you guys remember last year, GCW were here in San Diego, where I'm from. They had a little bit of a GCW versus Fist Combat, which is the local promotion that are like the gatekeepers of San Diego, and GCW lost. According to what for Acticus mentioned, he was pulled to the side by a guy named Mike. Now, at first I thought he was referring to Mikey Gordon, the promoter, but no, it's someone else, a guy from LA, from what he was making clear. He said that no one has noticed, not since the whole thing, that he's been frustrated, unhappy with the things that have been going on with him in GCW. But Mike pulled him out to the side and talked to him. So basically, this guy Mike actually saw what was going on with Acticus, and they started butting heads, started talking, basically come up with an ideas, and that's where they got the idea that he wants to form his own promotion, Circle Six. And people are saying this guy Mike is the reason he left GCW. No, no. According to Atticus, it had nothing to do. He left on his own accord. Keep in mind, GCW wrestlers, with the exception of Nick Gage, they don't have any contracts. So that's the thing that many people, how do I say this, don't understand. But the reason he wants to form this promotion is to make a living in wrestling, and that's what he wants to do. I think that's what he's been doing the entire time. I mean, he's been wrestling in GCW, H2O, anywhere that has involved with death matches, which is something that he's been known for. But it's still unclear when will this Circle Six will be launched, or who's going to be in it, who will be making appearances. Will we see members from 440 or just new guys? I don't know. But whatever the case may be for that, it's still unclear. Now, Atticus Cogar made it clear that he's not there to bash anybody, especially GCW. He just didn't want to be around that environment anymore. He just thought it was probably for the best for him to walk out, just to leave it and move on. And I give him props for thinking what's best for him. Now, for all you fans who want to put the blame on someone, please, enough with the blame game. It's a load of crap. Blame games don't play that very well. You know, I mean, look, we all talk about how people should be blaming WWE for all the failed superstars. Yes, that's a different story because we know how they treat the wrestlers in that particular. But we're talking about something outside of it that's possibly now being coming into light. But that's a different story in its own. But like I said, enough with the blame game. If Atticus Cogar felt unhappy, we should, as fans, give him the support that he needs. So I think that's pretty much it. So I believe it's time to me for calling it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Like I said, it's going to be a bit of a short one because I got things to do right now. And one of them is it's time for Batman. That's what I'm going to do. But right now, I will be releasing another video at some point. This one will be featuring, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling, continuing more on the New Japan Cup. However, we cannot forget New Japan Strong, which I'm excited to do. But also, I'm going to review a past event from yesterday, which features House of Glory, Salvation. I'm excited for that particular show. I really am, because it features the Lucha Brothers versus the Briscoes. Those for the House of Glory tag team titles. That is going to be, like Jim Rod will say, a slobber knocker of a match. So stay tuned for that. So right now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.